the story of how I canceled my wedding, and it turned out to be the best decision of my life. This story happened quite a long time ago, and I feel like I can talk about everything now. Names and places have been changed. Not all of my friends and relatives know what I went through. It's a long story, but there's no fluff. In 2016, after returning from the army, I started dating a girl. Let's call her Sveta. We knew each other before and gradually grew closer. She took the relationship very seriously. It was only after 6 months that we started appearing in public as a couple. From the very beginning, I noticed some warning signs. Sveta often threw tantrums, especially when talking to her mother, Olga. I attributed this to fatigue, character, habit. But with each passing month, such moments became more and more frequent. Sveta was raised as a princess, which is what she was called at home. She expected constant proof of my love in the form of gifts and attention. It was her only language of love. In 2017, I proposed to her. I bought a diamond ring, not the most expensive, but from the heart. She said that her friends had bigger stones. She didn't care that it was a cubic zirconia. She lived for status and external evaluation. The wedding was planned for 9 months later, but then my grandmother died, and the wedding was postponed. Then May came, and my mother Olia said, "If you get married in May, you'll suffer your whole life." She had no idea how right she was. The preparations were difficult. Constant quarrels, tantrums, and Svetlana's discontent. I worked from home, took on extra jobs, got tired, and all this against the backdrop of her phrases. "I'm tired." At some point, we rented an apartment that her mother liked. Sveta was shirking more and more responsibilities, and I tried not to go crazy. The climax came on the day we were making the invitations. Sveta is a creative person, and I understood that if someone other than her made the invitations, there would be scandals. But she didn't want to do it herself, saying she didn't know how to use Photoshop. I offered to do it together. She refused. She said she would monitor the process via messages. I did it, and she criticized it. After the 20th revision, she said that her mother Olia had saved the day and made a normal design. On top of that, she called me clumsy, stupid, and incapable of anything. That was the last straw. I said I would come over in the evening and we would talk. Sveta started to wiggle, saying that she had lost her temper and didn't mean to offend me, but I couldn't be stopped. An offensive tea party. I arrived with my parents, who had always been kind to Sveta. We sat down for tea, and my father said something like, "We must respect each other. Let's discuss everything calmly." At that moment, my mother Olia seemed to go mad. She started hysterically shouting, "How dare you attack my daughter in my house?" Everyone tried to calm her down unsuccessfully. I have had a stutter since childhood, and Olia, knowing this, began to insult me to my face, not just teasing, but actually bullying. Then I realized that there was no point in expecting any rationality. As we were leaving, Sveta appeared in the doorway, took off her engagement ring and showed it to me. Silently, I remembered that. At home, I told my parents that there would be no wedding. They were surprised, but after listening to me, they supported me. I decided to put an end to it. I called Sveta and suggested meeting at a cafe. She refused and insisted on meeting at home, probably so that her mother would be there. I agreed. I arrived at the appointed time, but Sveta went out for a walk with a friend, asking me to wait. After 30 minutes, she returned, and we went upstairs. Her mother, Olia, greeted us with feigned friendliness. I said right away, "There will be no wedding." The masks came off. Olia started hurling insults at me, calling me everything from a Jewish pig to a traitor. I don't even want to repeat it all. I kept quiet. Then we went outside, and I told Sveta everything I had been holding back. I reminded her about the ring, about the humiliation, about how there was no love on her part. Sveta listened silently. I went back, thanked everyone, even Olia. I said thank you to Sveta's stepfather, the only normal person there, and said goodbye. He nodded as if to say, "You did well to get out." I went outside, got into the car, and for the first time in many years, I cried, out of relief. I realized that I had almost made the biggest mistake of my life. Sveta promised not to talk about the reasons for the breakup. But her mother, of course, couldn't keep quiet. She called all our mutual friends and said that I had left Sveta because of her health, that I was a traitor, that I had a plan. Her page was filled with quotes from Statham about betrayal. It was almost funny. But almost all of our mutual friends took my side. Then they admitted, "We knew this family was toxic. We were just waiting for you to figure it out yourself." Many of those around her turned away from them. Olya went further. I studied at the university where she taught. I got in myself, even though I asked her for help, she refused. But now she told everyone that she dragged me through. And at the very first class, in front of the whole group, she said, "Everyone will pass, but one, definitely not." And she looked at me. It became physically difficult for me to be around such a person. I stopped going to the university. Then I just took my documents. Later, Olya told everyone that I left myself. She had nothing to do with it. Classic. I don't regret it. On the contrary, I am grateful to fate. 2 months later, I met a girl I knew before, but saw again. We got married very quickly, because we realized that this was for a long time. Now we have been together for more than 5 years. We have a strong family, children, and I thank life every day that everything went exactly this way back then. My wife is the absolute opposite of Sveta. She is calm, kind, respectful, supportive. Thanks to her, I understood what true love is, and not toxic affection covered by status. If you are in a relationship and notice red flags, do not ignore them. It is better to leave on time than to get out of hell later. Listen to yourself. Love is not about pain.